Springtime in Colorado can be beautiful, but also can turn dangerous in a matter of minutes.
It is different every year.
That means our First Alert weather team is getting you ready for anything.
It felt almost apocalyptic.
From surviving a lightning strike to dealing with the hurdles of insurance after a storm.
It all begins the day before.
We're sharing how to navigate the roller coaster ride that is a Colorado spring.
Welcome to CBS Colorado's First Alert Spring Weather Special.
This half hour, we will map out your long-range spring forecast
And help you decipher between a watch and a warning.
Plus, we'll catch up with a hiker who was struck by lightning.
But first, let's get you out to a storm chaser who likes to put himself inside the storms. He thinks Colorado is a great place to do it.
I mean, I've not seen this ever before.
For more than 15 years, Dr. Jason Persoff has been chasing storms in Colorado and across the Midwest.
And had gone from nothing to showing a debris ball on radar indicating a very violent tornado moving through that area.
From historic tornadoes to tennis ball-sized hail, Persoff has seen just about everything.
Joplin was truly the defining moment of my career.
It was May 11th, 2011. Persoff was in Joplin, Missouri, where the 7th most deadly tornado in U.S. history tore through the region.
I ran into a police officer who told me one of the two hospitals in Joplin had been destroyed by the tornado.
As a hospitalist, Persoff volunteered 16 hours of his own time at the one remaining hospital. It was there he began to realize there are holes in disaster response.
Dedicated my life at that moment to try and improve disasters and how we respond to them.
He brought the lessons he learned that night back to Colorado.
Right now, a lot of my work focuses on improving emergency preparedness, mostly in hospitalized environments. We are learning how to turn a hotel into a hospital in 2 to 4 weeks.
While working to improve disaster response, Persoff continues his passion of storm chasing, often with friends.
Now, one of the things that they're very firm about is that Colorado is not worth chasing, which is a complete and fabricated lie. Colorado is a phenomenal place to chase. It's just very challenging because it does not obey the rules.
That means Persoff chases begin the day before to stay ahead of the storms.
Because we have to, like when we're wrapping up a chase day, we actually have to do some forecasting for the next day, because the ideal situation is we're actually in position when we wake up in the morning.
It's getting into position the night before that allows Persoff to be so successful and snap photos that have landed him in museums. Take this Campo tornado, for example.
There were wildflowers to the west with the sunset off to the west, and just this amazing, like, textbook tornado. One of the best of my life.
His favorite photo came from a non-tornadic thunderstorm on the plains.
This is one of my favorite storm photos. There was absolutely no tornado with that, but man, that thing was spinning like a top.
In Colorado, springtime and early summer are prime time for storms big enough to produce tornadoes, with many areas of the state seeing more tornadoes on average than any other part of the country. Tornadoes can form in any part of our state, but the hotbed for tornadic storms to develop is mainly across the eastern plains, an area that sits on the far west side of what is known as Tornado Alley, which includes eastern Colorado and has expanded eastward across the nation over the last few years. On average, most Colorado tornadoes drop in the month of June, and there are 2 local hotspots that rival any other part of the nation. Adams County, which comes in at number 3, with 173 tornadoes reported from 1950 to 2016. And the number 1 county in the country for tornadoes is, believe it or not, Weld County, with 262 twisters reported in that period. Weld is number 1 for 2 reasons. One, its sheer size, and the other is location, location, location. There are several weather features that help to fire up twisters east of the Continental Divide. The big 4 are terrain, moisture, instability, and lift, which can come together at the base of the Rockies every spring and put the severe back in our developing storms. Lifting of air is almost automatic with the higher elevation of the Rocky Mountains. That lift can be enhanced when westerly winds push up and over our higher terrain. As this flow drops and warms on the leeward or downwind side of the mountains and foothills, it can produce a strong low pressure area or cyclone. This is a process called Lee cyclogenesis. This can provide extra lift, priming the atmosphere for tornadic storms to be born. Another big storm driver is something called the Denver Convergence Zone, or the Denver Cyclone. When east or southeast winds push across the Palmer Ridge south of Denver, the winds can be channeled down across the Denver metro area, running into a cool northwest flow pushing down the Front Range. This can create a convergence of wind that can increase the chance of rotation and tornado production. In recent memory, an F3 tornado destroyed a large section of Holly, Colorado, demolishing 35 homes, injuring 11, and killing 2 people in 2007. In 2008, the Windsor tornado blasted through a 39-mile path across Weld County. The EF3 twister was a mile wide at one point, killing 1 person and seriously injuring 78 with broken bones and lacerations. Damage reported was almost $150 million. Just a few years ago, in 2023, an EF1 tornado touched down just south of C-470 and ran over 8 miles from Highlands Ranch to Surrey Ridge. This area of University was one of the areas the twisters hit, knocking down hundreds of trees from here in Highlands Ranch all the way out to Surrey Ridge south of Lone Tree, causing not only tree damage, but damage to lots of buildings along the way. The best place to be if a tornado is in your neighborhood is in the basement. Stay away from windows, doors, and outside walls. Cover your head with a blanket or a mattress for protection.
With severe weather season starting in Colorado, knowing the difference between a severe thunderstorm watch and warning is important. When a watch is issued, it suggests conditions are ripe and severe storms will be possible in the next couple of hours. A watch also covers a large area, unlike a warning, which covers a small specific area. It's important to stay weather aware to make sure you're prepared ahead of time. Now, a severe thunderstorm warning, on the other hand, is issued when the following criteria is met: hail that's at least 1 inch in diameter and/or wind gusts of 58 miles per hour or greater. When a warning is posted, you'll want to take cover in a safe space as quickly as possible with a severe weather kit. Alex Leonard and her son Teddy show us how to put one together.
So this is the box that we're going to put all of our stuff in, okay? And this is what we do when there's a storm outside and mommy and daddy say we have to go to the basement, okay? We need to put some first aid stuff in there. Could you put some Band-Aids in there for me? Yeah. Could you put those in here? We also need a flashlight. Can you find the flashlight on the table? Perfect. We checked off a few more things like extra batteries, portable phone chargers, any medicine or baby products we thought we might need. And then Teddy needed to add, of course, some toys and snacks of his own. Are we in the basement?
Yeah.
Yeah, we came downstairs. What else did we bring with us?
Water.
And all sorts of stuff back here. So if we have to come downstairs and there's a storm, we've got everything we need to be ready. Do you feel ready?
Yeah.
Okay, good job. Give me a high five.
Colorado sits in the heart of Hail Alley, but which county gets the brunt of the hail? We dug into 20 years of storm data and we'll let you know which county gets the most right after the break.
Nebraska, Wyoming, and Colorado, the 3 states where the most hailstorms occur throughout the year. The area where the 3 meet, often referred to as Hail Alley. But where within Hail Alley here in Colorado do the most hailstorms occur? For that, I did a deep dive into the data. I looked back into the most populated counties in the state to see where the most hail events were reported since 2000 and which of those storms did the most damage. The hailstorm, a common occurrence across Colorado. We start to see more and more hailstorms across the state beginning in April and carrying us through September. Of Colorado's top 10 most populated counties, it's the single most populated county in particular that sees the most hailstorms. That's El Paso County. Over the last 20 years, there have been 246 days with hailstorms that produced 1-inch size hail or larger in El Paso County. Of the most populated counties following El Paso was Weld County, with 176 days of hailstorms. So what is it about Colorado that makes it so ripe for these hailstorms? The biggest contributing factor, our elevation. The high elevation of Colorado means our freezing level is closer to the ground, which allows for hail to form quickly, and there's less time for that hail to melt before it does hit the ground. Some of these hailstorms have caused millions, even billions of dollars in damage to parts of the state. Many of us remember this, the storm that caught the attention of the world at a Red Rocks concert in 2023. But it was this storm in May of 2017 in Edgewater that was the costliest for the state. The damage from that storm quickly escalated to $2.3 billion, with the second most costly storm happening in El Paso County in August of 2018, totaling just under $173 million. If you live in any of these cities, we typically see these hailstorms, or maybe you're out on the plains, or really anywhere in Colorado, you want to make sure you're prepared. So if you're out on the roads and you're driving, try to get to cover if you have the ability to do so. But if not, stop your vehicle. And experts say park your car toward the hail, because your front windshield is the most reinforced. If you're at home and your cars are outside, try to bring them into cover if you can. If not, cover them. Blankets are good protectors for vehicles. Now for your roof, if you've been caught in any hailstorm, just contact your insurance company for recommendations on roof repair companies and try to get quotes first before filing a claim.
There are times where you do get hit more than once, and they will have to file more than one claim. So you can't just wait till the end of the summertime and file a claim when you've had 3 different hailstorms come out. You are supposed to be filing a claim every time that hailstorm comes out and damages your property.
Weather is very complicated, and there's plenty of complicated words to go along with it. You got cirrus, virga, and even grapple. So I decided what better to do than head out to Wash Park and see if people really know what grapple is.
What is grapple? When the weather goes up and down? I don't know.
I've literally never heard this term.
Never heard of it.
Grapple feels like a gray sky.
Yeah. Oh, grapple. It's like sort of crusty, icy snowballs. Is that right?
Well, that's close enough. Grapple is something that develops way up above our heads. Everything starts out as snow. It then drops towards the surface where it comes into contact with a layer right near freezing, but that has liquid water in existence. The liquid water freezes on impact to the snowflake, which as it gets towards the surface creates what we call grapple. It's almost resemblant of soft hail as it accumulates on the ground.
The snow is melting and Colorado's rivers are rising. After the break, we'll take a look at how rescue crews are preparing for a busy season on the water.
There's so much focus on the moisture we get in the wintertime, which has a direct link to the summertime here in Colorado. From skiers riding on fresh powder on the slopes to rafters taking a ride down some of our famous Colorado rivers. But that relationship can spell danger if proper preparations aren't made. Your reporter in the mountains, Spencer Wilson, takes us up to the high country where 2 Colorado passions meet around water.
What falls in December, January, and February, as well as March, will flow past April and then into May. The snowmelt of today becomes the splash of tomorrow for river rafters. And the Chaffee County Search and Rescue Volunteer Team knows that all too well.
The mountains are a ever-morphing blob of different weather and conditions, and so you're constantly taking a look at not only your conditions for that day that you're going out, but there's always that little bug in the back of our mind that says, okay, what are we going to have to prepare for from the trends that we're seeing now?
Just help get the front of the boat in the water?
Things like watching how high a river gets.
Yeah, usually the higher the water, the faster it's moving.
Which can draw in crowds, so rescuers need to be ready should a tourist fall out into fast-moving waters, like we saw here in Clear Creek a few years ago. But that risk and that impact ebbs and flows.
It is different every year. There are some years where we have more snowpack, we have more moisture, and the water levels go up higher.
which is why crews, like CCS&R, have to stay trained up and ready to respond as soon as the snow starts to melt, and Coloradans and visitors trade their skis and boards for rafts, kayaks, and paddles. Just part of living in a state that has it all. You have to be ready for it all.
We live in such a beautiful area. There's so many different recreating opportunities, but that could be anything from avalanche, high angle, swift water, or even land search, where we're looking for somebody who wandered off a trail.
In the front, you guys have a foot cup, okay? I like to put this foot in the foot cup. You keep your feet locked in the whole time. You should be like way out of the boat like that.
So keep your eyes on the forecasts and check before you head out onto the water to make sure you're heading into something you can handle. In the high country, Spencer Wilson covering Colorado First.
Weather can be unpredictable in Colorado.
And that's why we're debunking some of the biggest severe weather myths.
All right, Lauren, fact or myth? If it's clear above me, therefore I'm safe from lightning.
Well, that's not necessarily true. That is a myth. Lightning can strike many miles away from the thunderstorm. If storms are in your area, but the sky happens to be clear, that certainly doesn't imply that you're safe from lightning. Though these bolts from the blue are infrequent, lightning strikes 10 to 15 miles away from the storm are not out of the question.
All right, how about this one? Lightning can't strike the same place twice.
Well, this is also a myth. It bolts back for seconds, especially on tall objects.
Okay, how about this one? Fact or myth? Large and heavy vehicles such as SUVs and pickups are safe to drive through floodwaters.
This is also a myth. It's a common belief that the larger the vehicle, the deeper the water it can drive through. Many people don't realize that 2 feet of water can float most vehicles, including SUVs and pickups.
Spring in Colorado can mean sunshine, snowstorms, and everything in between. So what's in store for this season? We're breaking down the latest outlook, what you can expect, and when you can plan for those warm, dry days right after the break.
A man is very fortunate to be alive. He was summiting a popular 14er, Mount Bierstadt, when the weather started to take a turn and a bolt of lightning struck, knocking him unconscious. Raised in Colorado, Tyler Rigg is no stranger to the outdoors.
We love going on hikes and taking our dogs on walks, and it's just peaceful.
It was a picture-perfect morning when Rigg and his friends set out to summit Mount Bierstadt.
Beautiful blue skies, sunny, and great day for a hike.
But near the summit, conditions changed.
There was a lot of clouds forming directly on the summit.
The group decided to continue. They summited around 10:30 and began their descent.
I was feeling the wind pick up a lot, and I was like, I think we really need to get out of here. As we're heading back towards the trail, in the scree field towards the top, that's the last thing I remember for about 10 or 15 minutes.
When Rigg came to, he thought it was altitude sickness.
So the folks around me that actually helped me get off the summit and helped me recover from being unconscious, they were like, yeah, you actually got struck by lightning. We need to get out of here because the storm's not over.
He had no memory of the strike.
Came in through my foot and out through my hand, knocked me out.
Around a dozen others were affected. Everyone except a dog made it off the mountain alive.
I was pretty sore for the next 2-3 days.
The incident left a lasting impression.
When I was younger, like I said, I felt like I was invincible and, could climb any mountain at any time. And now if there's weather, I think I have a bit more respect for Colorado and her nature.
The National Lightning Safety Council reports lightning strikes about 25 million times a year, killing about 20 people and injuring hundreds. Colorado ranks third in lightning strike fatalities. These statistics underscore the importance of being vigilant and prepared. Lightning strikes may be unpredictable, but there are steps you can take to protect yourself and your family. Start hikes early, check the forecast, turn back immediately if you hear thunder, avoid peaks, open fields, and isolated trees, stay away from water, metal objects, and fences, and if you're caught in a storm, crouch low with your feet together, your hands over your ears, and your head tucked. Rigg's story is a reminder that staying weather aware can be the difference between a perfect summit and a life-threatening experience.
Just because you're hiking doesn't mean you have to summit no matter what, or if you have a goal in mind, you can always come back another day.
Since then, Rigg has returned to Mount Bierstadt multiple times and climbed 10 more 14ers.
So just have respect for the weather.
The weather in Colorado can change, and sometimes it can change fast. Our First Alert Weather Days alert you on how severe weather may impact your plans. That's why we First Alert. You can count on the First Alert Weather Team to get you ready and keep you safe with accurate weather forecasts. Now, spring is one of our most active times of the year, from snow and cold to severe storms, so there's a chance that we're going to have several First Alert Weather Days heading our way.
Certainly is, and this year it's going to be fueled by La Nina. La Nina is the cooling of the ocean water off the coast of South America. Now, in many instances, when that happens, it could push the jet stream or the storm track well up to the north of Colorado, allowing drier and warmer air to move into the state. And in the long-range outlook for spring, it looks like that is exactly what's going to be happening. Here's the 90-day precipitation outlook. End of April, May, June, July, most of Colorado will likely be below normal on precipitation. Temperature-wise, we're likely to be above normal on temperature for the next 90 days. What does that mean? It means we're going to be dry, most likely, for the season, and hot as well. So that doesn't mean that we're not going to have any storms around here. There'll be fewer and farther between, but let's hope the ones that we do have pack quite a punch. Now, one of the best ways to stay prepared as severe weather approaches is to know what's coming in. Download the CBS News app for important weather notifications, and we have weather updates every 10 minutes on our streaming channel. Thanks for joining us for our First Alert Spring Weather Special.